Yeah, hi, my name's Scot McRae. I'm the co-founder of Candidate ID, and for those of you who know Adam, I'm not Adam Gordon. So Adam asked me to come and talk to you today about talent pipelines and how they can cut your time to shortlist by 50% and time to hire and cost hire, etc. But really what I want to do is tell you a story about net fishing, spear fishing, and a washing machine. Okay, and I'm going to use Dialog Semiconductor as an example. Okay, so they were hiring for, and Cielo Talent, they were hiring for software engineers. Total addressable market in the UK is about 500, and so ideally what they would want is they would want all those software engineers to swim into their net, because current best practice in recruitment is really just about net fishing, okay? It's about how do we get those 500 people into our net so that we can try and have a conversation with them. And so they do a lot of recruitment marketing activity, and basically what that will mean is with all the adverts and the posted job boards, etc., is that a proportion of them will swim into their net, and those will largely be the active ones, the ones that are actively looking. The huge kind of 80% majority of the ones that are higher quality are unlikely to swim into their net. So spearfishing is when you're able to identify the ones that are a best fit for you, so they meet your hiring criteria, okay, and their behavior suggests that they're interested in talking to you and having a conversation with you. So that is what spearfishing is about. So the world has changed. Steve talked about technology, talks about all the information that's out there, and that's driving a change in our behavior, okay? So this is what the candidate decision journey looks like, okay? So something makes us aware of an opportunity. Now that could be push from pain, from, maybe the company's getting sold, or I had a shit conversation with my boss, and now I start looking. And now I set off on this educational journey, and we all self-educate, we all self-direct. I could challenge every one of you to go and buy a 4x4, and you could decide which 3 it was. Now, what that means from a recruitment point of view is that we used to have to do this, okay? If we wanted to learn more about the company, we'd have to get in touch with the recruiter, and the recruiter would nurture us. But now we do this. We self-educate and we self-direct, okay? Now, that means that candidates don't engage with recruiters, which creates a whole ton of problems, because you're trying to talk to everybody in the net. You're doing that against a backdrop of increasing competition, okay? It's easy to apply. So what we talk about is spearfishing, which is the ability to identify who is it that's here, okay? So the starting point is really dirty, okay? It's dear, it's expensive, it's inefficient, and it's scalable. You're starting with old, unstable, unsearchable ATS data. You're doing job advertising. Okay, you got to kiss a lot of frogs, and in terms of getting in here. So this is all the things that Dialog were doing, okay? They were job boards, advertising, they were optimizing for search, they were trying to make their career site easy to engage with, and they were hoping that people would swim into their net, okay? So now we'll wait for this slide to come on. There we go. So where we started with them was, okay, look, let's just automatically take your ATS data, let's up enrich it, and let's just engage them, and let's engage them with what the content that they want at each of the stage. When they're looking, they're aware, they're learning about Dialog, they're learning about the company and the culture, and they're really looking at what the opportunities and why I should work there, and let's just focus on talking to these people here, okay? Because when we're all self-educating, we're looking for content that adds value at each of our stages. So you can see that at this early stage, we want to know about the industry, we want to know about the employer. At the education stage, we want to know what does the teams look like, we want to know what the mission and the value is it a good fit for me? And when we're considering, we're really talking about, is this right for me? And let's just put a scoring order underneath under all of that, okay, which is like, so along this axis here, we have how much commitment from the candidate, and then up here, what type of contact. And so really we want to surface the people that are up here, okay? Now you can't do this without technology, okay? So we're different to the best ATSs and the best CRMs, because the best ATS and the best CRM can only tell you that they've done very, very simple things. Whereas, John does some simple things, and Jane then does this, opens an email, clicks on the content, looks at the careers page, looks at the culture page, looks at the hiring manager's LinkedIn profile. Her entire digital footprint demonstrates to her that she is the person that the recruiter should contact. So 293 software engineers across Europe, out of the ATS, refitched and enriched. And what we wanted to do was convert that ATS into an active pipeline. We put them through a 5-week omni-channel campaign, which was social media, it was LinkedIn. And these are the results, okay? So at the end of week 1, we had 57% of that talent pool was active, okay? We had 143 people that were hot, and we had 159 conversations already, okay? Then we moved to week 3, 75% are now active, 271 are hot, and 316 conversations are going with the Cielo team on behalf of Dialogue. And then we moved to week 5, quickly. I should have made this one shorter. So week 5, 81% of that talent pool is now active, 288 are hot, 342 conversations and 20 interviews already. Now, this is not hard, okay? This is just about making sure that your talent pool, the data that's in the ATS, is up to date. It's about understanding the content that they will engage with and will add value, and it's about putting it in front of them, but putting it in front of them in a way that is what we would call candidate first. It will all happen on the smartphone, okay? So when it's on the smartphone, it's got to be optimized for the smartphone. It's got to, the links that you want them to read have got to be front and center. It's got to load in like under 2 seconds on a limited, kind of connection network. So GDPR is a ticking time bomb for all the data that organizations have spent millions and millions of dollars getting into the ATS. Accenture has 8 million records in its ATS, okay? Now, the only way that you can make that compliant with ATS is to rinse it, okay? You need to bring it up to date, and you've got to engage with it, which is what this is about, which is what we can do. And then it's compliant. So thank you. I'm Scott from Candidate ID.